What's going on, folks? Appreciate you chiming in. Appreciate you stopping by. All that good stuff. Welcome to another episode of All Bass Creations, Ambient Bass Effects Mornings. So, we are all the way up to episode 61 so far. What's going on? Yeah, not quite $1 million, but it costs a little bit, a few dollars. But wherever you are, if you haven't already, hit that like button for me. It greatly helps me out, and helps me be able to reach more people and, keep the channel growing. So I definitely appreciate the likes, the follows, the subs, all that good stuff wherever you are. As well as if you want to check out some of my presets, check out that Patreon. All right, so let's get to it. So there we have, this is actually a pretty complex sound altogether, but I'll try to keep this short as possible because, during this time, I definitely appreciate the gift. Definitely appreciate it. Joe, appreciate you, bro. So let me see where we at. All right, there we go. All right, let me break down this sound here. So right now we have the MXR layers. Let me switch over to the pedal board view for you guys. Don't forget to hit the hype button as well, all that good stuff. Thank you. Appreciate super chats, cash apps, all that stuff. Definitely. I'm about to drop some game. About to drop y'all some real game right now. All right, so we got the MXR layers, which is this pedal here. And I'm actually operating that with the sustain pedal, with just a regular keyboard. Sustain pedal, I actually prefer. Well, I can't. I can bring it up. Here it is. So there's a regular old little cheap Yamaha. It's just the old, cheap little square thing. Nothing fancy. But, it doesn't take up any space if I want to carry it with me. I use that with the MXR layers, and that running into the key 9, which is on the organ setting. So I probably should break down some of these individual sounds here. Let's get it. What we got this on? That was on analog flanger. Just want to bypass this for just 1 second. Bow. Super complex sound. Okay. Now we just peel back all the layers. No pun intended. But, it started, the whole sound starts with the MXR layers. So we take that sound, right? That's literally the sound. So I turn the delay all the way off on the MXR layers. I have it on single mode, and I had the smear probably around like very minimum smear on there, so it's like a really nice clear layers. With just a smidge of a slow attack, like it's a pretty quick attack on there, but just added just a little bit of that to smooth it out in between chords. And I will say the MXR layers definitely has a odd timing when it comes to using the sustain pedal and playing it. So you gotta get used to it, especially when we get to the ARP sound, like by itself, of course, you're fine, right? Let's bring in the key 9 on organ. Appreciate you. Yeah, appreciate all the usual suspects starting to show up, different folks. Appreciate you. Yeah, and then as you add layers to it, it does have like that video game feel to it, like a cheaper organ. Especially once I add the key 9 on organ. really gets that organ sound. Male 9 as the choir on low choir. And these pedals, this is how you get into that synth territory, even if you don't want to get a pedal, dedicated synth pedal or something like that. The things like the Mel 9, Key 9, and MXR layers together, or the Deep Freeze is in that category as well. Definitely transform your bass sound from just your normal run-of-the-mill thing to something, you know, special. No, I'm not running anything parallel. Like literally, I run my signal chain straight. So when I'm giving you guys like, hey, what's going on, by the way, Big Son, no, appreciate you been, appreciate you following. You've been coming. You definitely one of the usual suspects at this point. But I definitely appreciate all you guys hanging out with me, and especially Patreon subscribers and stuff. Appreciate you. So basically, everything is running in like just a straight line. I'm not doing any, you know what I'm saying, just MXR layers to Mel 9 to Key 9 to Mel 9. Then we're going to the Empress compressor to kind of tighten it up. Go to the ToneX, add something on there. Nice preamp sound. Then we kick on the Enzo X with the Flowers Shop ARP. Just nasty. I love the Enzo X, of course, but we take that sound, we run it into the MS-70 CDR Plus, where we're running a filter delay. Let me just move over here. That would make so much more sense. Let me okay, filter delay, ping pong delay into a tri-chorus. Shimmer reverb from the Plethora X1, which really makes it seem like it's a big choir, you know what I'm saying? Because it makes that choir sound really pop out, and also takes it up an octave too, so it's like sounds like a much bigger choir. Kick on some analog flanger from the HX1. Just added a little bit of stereo with and a little bit of texture. I can hit that flux and add a little more. Now you can get a really big stereo pad. just like all of these pedals in combination is really what gets you that, you know, ridiculous sound altogether. But you know, some of the, I mean, pretty much every pedal I turned on there kind of became the star and just added something that was on top of what the MXR layers was doing. The MXR layers was doing a great job of creating that nice initial pad sound, you know, and just sustaining that for me. If I wanted to play over it, I could as well. I like that. I added some chorus, a little bit more intensity to the chorus on the MXR layers on accident there. Worked out. I've never actually done this sound before. I just literally just made this up as I was this part up. I knew I could do the pad, but I wasn't sure how playing over that was gonna go, but that actually worked out well. And of course I could just do a similar sound with the Hog 2 if I wanted to, and I can actually sustain the layers and pick which octaves I want it to be. See, now we got some new octaves available to us. That's crazy. So you can literally, you got plenty of things you can do with that. Let's see what we got here. So, yeah, definitely check out that multi-stomp pack on the Patreon for any of the multi-stomps, the MS-60B Plus, the MS-70 CDR Plus. I promise you won't be disappointed. And they aren't that expensive. Also, the Zoom B6 is on there. If you have a Zoom B6, set up all types of patches and stuff on there for you. Definitely appreciate the compliments. Yeah, I love my collection I do have here. These are all my current favorite pedals that I'm using at the moment. Definitely appreciate that. Nah, you gotta, you just slow it down. You gotta concentrate on each part. And I wouldn't even, I would start with really understanding each individual effect, and that'll help you in like understanding the subtleties of them. Because if I tried to make every effect here prominent, none of them would work well together. Everything is yeah, I wouldn't get the V1, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I know it's $220, but yeah, my pack won't even work for that. My pack only works for version 4 and the future ones because they changed all the hardware and everything and improved a lot of the sound quality on the Future Impact V4 and the V4 VIP versus the V1. Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work for that. And I would say if you could, I got the Future Impact VIP for like $350. You know what I'm saying? Why spend the $220 on the version 1 that's not gonna get any updates, can't do nothing with it. Yeah, you should. I would get the VIP. It's gonna be smaller and it's gonna be more efficient for you than the V4 and Future Impact. Like, look at the size of the V4 VIP. It's a lot smaller than the other, the original or V4. All right, let's move on from this sound. Plus, go to the directly, go to the I'm trying to remember the exact website, but it was directly from the Panda Audio that I got my Future Impact, and it was like $350. I think, and I saw other places for more, but just go directly to Panda Audio. They'll probably benefit more from it that way as well. You know what I'm saying? And the dude is like I just saw the invoice. Personally signed the invoice, so I definitely appreciate and personally contacts you. Before he sends it out, and things like that. So there actually was very good customer service going directly through Panda Audio. So that's what I would recommend. All right, that's enough. I'm not gonna ARP y'all to death today. We're gonna do something else. We already did those sounds. Ambient, bass effects, mornings. Definitely appreciate all the love y'all been showing me in the chat. Feel free to chat. Feel free to ask questions. Feel free to just enjoy the music. So, just breaking down this loop I just made. First thing you heard was actually the C4 synth, right? So that initial patch, and then that more atmospheric patch is coming from the Enzo X. Bass synth came from the Future Impact oscillators and all that stuff on the Future Impact, and then I used the filter, the 6-pole filter on the C4 synth. and I disabled the filter on the Future Impact just to get a different sound, you know. And the rest of that was just my actual bass sound, you know, type thing. So, you know, those type of inspirational things can come from anywhere. That's why I like to have some nice synth pedals and things around, like the Enzo X, the C4 synth, the Future Impact V4 VIP. They enhance, you know, when I want to do things like that. And of course, when I want to, you know, say I don't want all my backing tracks that I'm laying down for a looper to sound like my bass. You know, those are very useful in creating those atmospheric pads and things very quickly and very precisely. And not only that, from there, when I do go to play my bass sound as the solo sound, it stands out a little bit more. It's not as, you know, everything is a bass sound. I do tracks like that. I've done, you know, an entire album, All Bass Creations, that Bandcamp, and you know, that's what the album name is, All Bass Creations. And I did that entire album with no MIDI, no synth pedals, just my bass and effects, you know, and changing my actual bass sound into different, you know, textures and things like that. So, you know, I did a whole album like that to demonstrate that it can be done, and because it's where I was led to do creatively, you know what I'm saying? But with these pedals, it's a whole different thing. You know, that's why I have such a wide variety of sounds for just my bass, but then I can go and have a wide variety of sounds for synths as well. So, you know, it just opens up the possibilities a lot more, you know, especially being a solo performer or doing things like this. It gives me plenty of opportunity to, you know, create. And what you guys literally watch me do all the time is pretty much just create. You know, I didn't really, you know, have a plan to create that. It just what came out of the sound. You know, from the C4 synth started there. Enzo X I already knew was next, and then Future Impact definitely drove that synth bass home. So, you know, definitely, I think a lot of people always ask me which one they should get. I think that track kind of demonstrated that all of them are worth getting in their own respect, you know what I'm saying? Because all of them can do, you know, while only the Enzo X is polyphonic, these monophonic ones allow you to do harmony as well, you know, and that's what you were listening to there with the C4 synth. The C4 synth's harmonizers along with the oscillators that's in there. Mind you, all these sounds are available on Patreon. See, cool thing is you don't even have to try to recreate these sounds. If you want to use them, just like if you bought a motif, you wouldn't have to recreate the piano sounds in here. You just would have them, right? Same thing with my preset packs. You can just go and go to the Patreon, download the preset pack. Future Impact, Enzo X, and C4 Synth all have packs on there, along with the Zoom multi-stomp pedal, Zoom B6, and 11 different preamps for the ToneX series of pedals and software. So check all that stuff out. Don't leave me hanging, folks. And hit that like button if you haven't already. You know what I'm saying? Y'all see me working hard over here. We trying to get it in. And I definitely do appreciate all you guys on the different platforms hanging out with me. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Kick. And special shout out to the Patreon subscribers. You know, the Patreon folks definitely keep the channel going. So, you know, thank you guys, whether you're buying preset packs or you're actually signed up for $1 to $5 a month. You know, currently, I definitely appreciate it. You know, every bit I appreciate it. So I don't take it likely that you guys would invest into me and trust me to, you know, keep going and provide you with the content that you like. So let's see what else we'll get into today. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of doing some. well, I'll explain a few sounds from that too that didn't come from the synth pedals. Like that sound right there is actually the Hog 2 into the Zoom MS-50G, the original, the silver one. And then, let me see, pedal board view, you guys see a little bit better. But yeah, Hog 2 to MS-50G. What else is on there? Empress Compressor, MS-70 CDR Plus, and HX1. You know. Don't remember those chord changes off the top of my head. All right, cool. I know what we can do. Got something right here. yeah. Oh, sorry about that. Appreciate you guys hanging with me as usual. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? And if you have already, hit the hype button. You know, there's always Cash App, Super Chat. But more importantly, you can head over to the Patreon and grab any of the preset packs or sign up for channel membership there, or you can sign up for channel membership now on the YouTube channel. So keep all this stuff in mind. But thank you guys for hanging out with me. I'll be back a little bit later on doing another live sometime around 4. So make sure you hit that like button and make sure you subscribe. Hit that notification bell. That way you know when I'm going live. I try to do ambient bass effects mornings just about every morning, starting sometime between 9 and 10. So make sure you catch that. Make sure you stay tuned. And I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for hanging with me.